So let's think about how we respond to problem behavior. Let's let this picture represent all problem behaviors. It doesn't have to be aggression, right? Plug in whatever problem behavior you're thinking of for your students, your children. When we see problem behavior, this is how most people react. It's just, I want to have life as normal. I want to parent as normal. And if there's problem behavior, I just want it to stop and go away so I can go back to life as normal. If I'm a teacher, I want to run my classroom as normal, right? And if there's problem behavior, make it stop so I can go back to running my classroom like normal, right? So our focus typically, or historically, and often currently, is when there's problem behavior, we just want it to stop, right? We're not thinking about how to change my home, my parenting, my teaching, my classroom to prevent it, which was one of Dr. Kern Kegel's messages, prevention, prevention, prevention. We just want to live our lives, business as usual, and then when there is a problem, make it go away so we can continue on, right? So this raises certain questions that people ask. Right? These are the historical questions, which I would argue are the wrong questions to be asking, although we can appreciate why people are asking. So what should I do when there's the problem behavior? Right? Parents want to know, teachers want to know, how do I stop it when it occurs? Right? That's the first question. Or how should I handle it when she does this, he does that, they engage in this problem behavior? Right? It's a reactive question. Right? It's inherently reactive, and it's just about stopping it so we can continue on business as usual. And that's problematic because it puts you into this cycle which really is going to promote narrowing the person's universe over time. So you're doing business as usual, you're running your classroom, you're running your home the way you would like to, and then a problem behavior occurs. And what do? You react to the problem behavior. You ask those questions, right? You ask people to give you those strategies about how to respond to problem behavior. It's all about response. And you put out that fire, peace and harmony is restored to the galaxy, right? Things are cool again until 5 minutes later or tomorrow or the next opportunity, the next problem behavior occurs, right? And then you're back at it and you put out that fire and peace and harmony is restored and you repeat and you repeat. And at some point people will say to me, I guess this is just my life. Right? This is just the way things are. This is just the way it's going to be at school. Families become defeated by this. I think this is just my life. The problem behavior is kind of running our universe. And that's really not okay. It's this problem behavior cycle. And of course, with intervention and supports, the goal is to break out of that cycle and teach pro-social skills and avoid those problems. So to break the cycle, we have to stop, I would argue, asking how to respond to problem behavior. Stop just trying to have business as usual. And when a problem occurs, just have a bag of tricks to throw at the problem to make it go away so we can go back to business as usual, right? That's what we need to stop doing, I would argue. What we need to start doing is training people to look at problem behavior differently, thus my title, What's the Function? And instead of looking at it as a problem to go away, try to understand why it's happening, because that will enable you to be more effective in intervening on it and preventing it in the future. So looking at the behavior, and instead of covering your ears and make it stop, asking analytic questions. Why is this happening? How is it benefiting the person? Right? As Dr. Kern Kegel said, all problem behavior is communicative behavior. It's telling the audience something, that you want something, that you don't want to do something. It's communicative behavior. So it's benefiting the individual in some way. And really, part of answering the question, what's the function, is to look at how is it communicating? What purpose is it serving for the individual? So I'm going to start at the end with the take-home points, right? All behavior serves a function, period, full stop. All behavior serves a function. If it seems random and you can't figure out the function, that's just, in that moment, you're not able to discern what the function is, but there has to be a function, right? You can't say, well, there is no function because I can't figure it out. No, it's just, you couldn't figure it out, but there is a function. Luckily, most of the time, we can figure things out. So the scientific term that kind of defines this is determinism. And determinism is a tenet of science, not limited to applied behavior analysis, positive behavior support, or others. It applies to all science, physical sciences. The idea of determinism is that the world is an orderly place. Things happen for a reason. There's cause-effect. Right? If the world wasn't deterministic, there'd be no reason for us to be educators or to be behavior analysts and try to intervene on behavior, because things wouldn't be happening for any reason, which means we couldn't control or predict what's going on with behavior. And we know that that's not true. We can't control and predict. We can be effective. So I would espouse the benefits of a deterministic viewpoint, right? When you leave here today, think about things happen for a reason. And if I can't figure it out, I just need to work on figuring it out. I need that functional behavior assessment process that you'll hear a lot about over the next 2 days. So if you are deterministic and you assume that there's a cause and effect and things happen for a reason, then you'll ask the question, what's the function, right? And if you understand function, you're a leap ahead. You're already ahead of the game. As a parent, as a teacher, as an educational assistant, if you understand function, right, understanding before acting increases your chance of acting effectively and not, at the very least, accidentally reinforcing the problem behavior, which happens all too often.